All right, we are live. So, hello everyone and welcome back to Factorio. So, last time we were here, we were mostly messing around with the data cable stuff, and we have our... where is it? In here. We have our circuit clock set up, which is potentially not like the optimal way of doing it, but it's good enough for now. So, now what I need to do is I need to figure out how to get that to actually send the trains around. Although, let's see, for now, is it even important? Yeah, I guess we should get it figured out. So, we are going to get rid of all that stuff, because that is not the final design. So we put in this. And this is going to have this cycle up every second or so. And we can set how long for it to loop here. So let's set this to 60, which is probably not exactly 60 seconds, because I don't think that this is entirely correct, but it's probably close enough. So then we just need a little bit more logic here. So we need another decider combinator, which we are going to go here, and your output goes to your input. So when you have a signal of clock, alright, this is an arithmetic combinator, not a decider combinator. Yeah, okay, we don't want you. We need you instead. So you take from there over to there. You have an input of clock, and if the clock is exactly equal to 0, then you can output a green check mark. And then we just... How do we actually get this to work? Because we need to alternate between these two trains, right? So we need to send the green check mark to there, and then it will leave, and then 60 seconds later we need to send it to there. Alright, so I guess we need to just tell which of these two is active. So if we have... we have to have like a toggle, basically, of which of the two is active, and then send the signal to the other one. So I guess that is probably not terribly difficult. So we should be able to do that in just one decider combinator. So you get green check mark equals 1. So that should trigger like every 60 seconds. Then let's see here. We need to output... we need to output one of a different signal each time this triggers. Okay, wait, I figured it out, I think. So you get another input, which can be, I don't know, what symbol should we use for this that would be clear? Just flag, I guess. So if green check mark and flag equals 0, then you output flag equals 1 and green check mark equals 1. Alright, then we need another one of you, which you, if flag equals 1, then you do that, and I don't know if this will even work, but if we just do that, alright, does this work? No, because this is only going to output the flag when oh wait, I think I figured it out. We just have to set the green check mark to output that and then be an OR. And then we do the same there, maybe. So then we need to wire these all up to themselves, and no, that definitely doesn't work. So what if we make you guys and then what? Oh, wait, I think I figured it out. If we do that, or flag equals 1. Okay, so if the flag equals 1, this is going to keep outputting that. So it should be fine. And then this one will... I don't know if that'll work. Let's set this down to a smaller number so that we can see. Okay, a train has just left. So I don't know what that's all about. Okay, now that train has also left. So currently the flag is equal to 1 and we have our green check marks. Now, this is... Okay, the clock is all messed up because it's at negative 60 something at the moment. So that's not ideal. Alright, so we just need you to get up to there. This fast cycle is still going. And I could make this faster temporarily. So if I set you to 10, then that will just get us further along. Alright, now let's set you back to 60. Alright, so the clock currently equals 5. Alright, so the flag is true. Checkmark is set to 225, so that's not correct. And the flag seems to always be true, so this is definitely not working. This is definitely not working. And this just keeps going up for whatever reason. If we disconnect you, how is this getting 400 some? What's cooking? I'm trying to figure out the data system stuff to get basically things that go on a timer. And also, let's just, I don't know, do some random research in the background. So I'm trying to have it so that, like, every 60 seconds or so, one of these two trains will leave for a refill and the other one will stay. But it is very much not working. Okay, wait, I think I know. You need to be connected up via green, not red, maybe? So if you do something like that, I don't know. And then you get connected up to there. And you probably need to be connected to yourself with green. Alright, something weird is definitely happening here. So if that equals 1, then we do that. So I think... Oh, does this have to be... I think that might have to... No, that's definitely not that. I theoretically don't need to detect which trains are present, but it would certainly... It would probably be helpful. Alright, so that is not setting the flag back down to 0 successfully. So the problem is that the flag is always set to 1, and so these are basically both always true. Alright. Alright, you stop doing whatever you're doing. Let's just take those out. They're completely wrong. So, what we need is... Let's try to just do this from scratch. We need a decider combinator or 2. And... let's see, what else is there? Laser shooting speed, that's always going to be helpful. So we need one of these. We need, like, which one of these is outputting to alternate between cycles. So every time... So if this is true, then we need to flip which one of these is true. Okay, maybe we can do it like this. So if we just have, like, a flag is... No, we need to get the checkmark signal. So if checkmark equals 1, then we need to output... We need to output a flag which is based on a specific value. Okay, this just does nothing, though. That just actively doesn't accomplish anything. Alright, what am I doing? Let's change this from the check mark to the flag, because the check mark has a different meaning and I don't want to get confused. So, when that happens, we need this to swap. We need the inputs to swap, which means that this needs to be true if the other one is false. Well, I feel like I should be able to do this. So if, let's get this to output, I don't know. So if you have lock, okay, wait, if this outputs something, I feel like I'm on the brink of figuring it out. So we have lock equals 1. So if we have that, and we have that. So you just like invert whatever that is. And then, wait, I feel like I might be overcomplicating this. So if you are just the green check, which is what we'd use to tell the trains to leave. So if this is flag equals 1 and green check equals 0, output green check equals 1. Then, if we do the other one, so if you are flag equals 1 and green check equals 1, then you output, wait, no, this doesn't work, does it? No, this doesn't work, because I need to have the different signals sent to the different trains. So actually, what I need is, I just need, okay, all I need is for these two to trigger, I just need to pass the green check along to here every other time we get it, and then do the same thing for the other one but in reverse. So let's see, this outputs a flag equals 1 when it's true. This would then set this up. I feel like I figure it out and then immediately forget what I figured out. Like, I feel like my brain is just not working properly. Okay, wait, so if the flag equals 1, then you output the check mark. And then you also output another thing, which we're going to call flag of 1. And wait, no, that can't be the same thing, right? That has to be different. I don't know, let's check. Let's have that be lock. So if flag equals 1 and lock equals 0, then you output that. Otherwise you don't. Maybe? I feel like I'm doing this wrong. I feel like this is just entirely overcomplicating something somehow. There's some obvious solution that I'm missing. But I don't know what it is. So we have the ability to like send them both off at the moment. And so if we just like pass the flag along to these, they would both go every 60 seconds. And I should be able to create some sort of thing that has this happen every other time. Sort of like how... Wait. Sort of like how I did this? So, hang on. What did I do back here? So this was my whole loop thing. So, when this goes through a whole loop, then... Okay. I think I might have figured it out. Maybe. So, you should be... lock equals... Let's try doing lock equals 1. Then you output the input count. And... Wait, no. This has to be lock is less than equal to 1. Sending the second train every 120 seconds, offset by 60 seconds. So, I could, I guess. But I feel like I have this figured out now, and I do want them to be like linked up to the same system, if that makes sense. So if we have lock is less than 1, then you output the input count. So then we connect you up to yourself, and then okay, let's actually just have this be the flag, just so I don't have to rewire that again. So if we do that and then connect you into there. Alright, does that work? Maybe if I set you to like 2, then you're less than 2, so you're outputting 1, and then while this clock is working, this does this whole spontaneous jittery thing. So I need to like figure out how to make that not happen. So this one works because it's only good for like a single frame. But this one, that doesn't work. So... Oh, maybe I just have to do an arithmetic combinator? Hang on. So if we do that, you go into there, and you get flag plus, I don't know, 1. Then what does this accomplish? So this means that our flag is now either 1 or 2. This doesn't help us immediately, but I feel like feel like there was something that I could do with an arithmetic combinator to get this to work. Okay, maybe if we have you just linked into yourself, are you gonna go scaling off forever? Yes, we are. Alright, that's fun. Let's do lab research speed. Why not? Alright, you need to stop existing. So, we need this to have an arithmetic combinator, probably. Of course, that's not within the power range. So that outputs a signal of 1 every so often. This would take that signal and then convert it to some other thing. Oh wait, maybe what I need to do is I need to remember how to make a latch. That's literally all this comes down to is that, but I'm pretty sure it's doable within a single combinator. So it's like either flag is 1. No, I can't. I don't know. We're just gonna be lazy here and just have these. I'll come back to fix this later, but it's not super important. Yeah, a latch is an exclusive for. All right. So I will try to solve this. One more attempt. So if flag is then 0 or alright, so if flag is 0 or flag is 1. No, we can't have these all be flags. How about you be the lock? So if lock equals 0, so if lock equals 1, then it'll set lock to 2. I don't know. I can't remember how to do this like in this exact circumstance. Okay, wait. Actually, maybe this. If that is 0 and so if that's locked or flag equals 1, I don't even think that needs an AND. Then it outputs lock equals 1 and check mark equals 1. So I don't know, let's connect that up and just see what happens. And I think what'll happen is it'll get stuck in the locked position forever. So this is outputting flag equals 1. This isn't... Oh, so this isn't connected up to itself, which it needs to be. Alright, so now we have that. And actually, will this? No, it won't. So there's always that, and it never adds the lock signal to anything. Alright. What if we then have another one which is going to be set up exactly the same. So we have 2 of these now. And why are you now flickering like this? Oh, because the lock is getting set equal to 2. So how about you are then like the alternate of this? No, so this doesn't do anything. So we just need to make this not equal 1 when we get a signal. Okay, what if you actually just output also a lock of 1? And then we connect you back to there. Or let's actually just make you a lock of 2 there. So you're on. Now, the next time we get a signal, that happens, and then this just flickers forever. Okay, what? That's fine. What if we just make that like an AND? Alright, so if we make that an AND, then that does nothing. And then this all flickers a bunch. Okay. So that's happening. So this is adding like 1 flag in. And then that flag causes this to output a lock of 1. Okay, what if we just take that out? So this just outputs 2 when there's a flag regardless of the state of the lock. Okay, so this just like makes the check signal just like an instantaneous blip. Okay, so the check signal just lasts as long as a flag is active and then goes away. So what if we have you also do something if the flag equals... Okay, so this just always outputs that, which is obviously useless. So I feel like we're almost on the brink of having it. I feel like this is the right path. So I just need to figure out how to get this guy to, like, only... I just need to figure out how to get this guy not to do what it's doing. So I think you need to do something like that, maybe? Okay, so that, the flag shows up, the lock signal goes in, and now the lock is equal to 1, so this is never going to be true. And the problem is, I think the only reason this isn't working is because this flag signal comes in over a period of time. It's not like an instantaneous blip. It like sits there for like a second and then goes away. Yeah. So that's what I need to figure out. I just need... Yeah, I just need to figure out how to convert this into a single pulse. Which I feel like shouldn't be terribly difficult, right? So all I need is if you get a flag signal equal to 1, you're going to output a flag signal equal to 2, maybe? Will that do it, or will that just flicker like crazy? That's just gonna flicker like crazy, isn't it? That's just gonna flicker. Okay. How do we convert this into a single pulse then? How does that work? So you output that signal for a little bit. Yeah, it feels like it should be pretty easy, and I'm just not thinking of it. Okay, what if we just go like... So that's obviously never going to be true. So that's always going to be true. Alright, having both of the sides of that be the same is obviously wrong. So let's just set that to... Flag is less than 1. Have you tried using mod or percent in the arithmetic? Not for this. It might... I can't see how that would help with this, though. Okay, what if we... There has to be a way. There has to be a way. Oh, wait, I know. Actually, maybe if we... Because this one does go every single frame. So if we just, like, grab off of that... Alright. So we do flag equals 1, and... clock equals -1, then you can output a flag along, and so you are going to disconnect from those two, connect to there, then you connect to those two, and then this goes over to there, and oh, that's the wrong side. That's the output side, not the input side. Need to connect this clock up to there, and this should work. So this outputs a single frame of flag. I'm pretty sure. Okay, wait, no, it does not. What was that? What just happened there? Why does that flicker at all for the output? Because I know the input is going to do all sorts of crazy things, but... Okay, I think that works. I think that works. So then we have this, and then this is currently active. Now we have that clock going through every so often, which doesn't matter. Okay, I don't know what all of that was about, but... So if we just have this... Okay, wait, it just toggled, right? So now this isn't active anymore. And I don't know if that's some weird stuff. Alright, so it's like... It does weird flickery stuff now. So we need to figure out what's going on with that, because that's obviously not entirely correct. So the output signal there looks like that's only for a single instant. And that should be okay. Wait, is this... This isn't connected in with itself, right? No, it isn't. Alright, so that output, I'm pretty sure that's for a single instant. So then we just need... If we make you an AND, is that right? Or will that just break it somehow? Alright, so this one, that one just doesn't do anything useful, so let's get rid of it. And... Okay, maybe? So this is now active, as it should be. And then the flag showed up, and it still wasn't right. Alright, so what we need is... What do we need to do here? So this is now just locked because of that, which is unsurprising. And it's still... That flag input signal stuck around for a bit, didn't it? It's like it's weird. It seems like sometimes it flickers like that and other times it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, that's lasting for ages. Why is that happening? Is it like... Oh, is it because it's connected up with this still? Okay, you need to be connected with green... No, stop it. Where does that connection go? You to there. What? What? Interesting. I'm not sure how that has happened. That is a new one on me, not gonna lie. Well, how do we fix that? How do we... It must have done some weird thing with that somehow. Okay, well, that's not good. Let's see here. So that's definitely not equal to -1. This clock signal is way, way too low. So how do we even fix that? How do we even fix that? If we just like take that out? Okay, this whole thing is a blueprint, right? So if I just deconstruct you entirely and then rebuild you, then we get the clock back at least. And so this is recovered. Alright, so we need you. We need you to be connected to there. And you are connected to there. No, not that side. That side, because that's the side that gets the clock. this is an arithmetic combinator, not a decider combinator, of course. Alright, so you exist. You are the one which outputs that check mark thing. So if we go green check mark is equal to 1, and the clock signal is equal to -1, then you output the flag signal at 1. So then we connect you up, we connect you up, and alright, what's going on here? Oh, that is connected up to the wrong side again, as I frequently have done. So you need to be... Actually, where does the clock signal come out from? It comes out of this arithmetic combinator. So you get connected to there, back to here. So now that is true every so often. That is set to 10, which is fast enough that we should be able to see this happen every so often. So this is counting up. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So what is that? Does that work? So we have that, and it outputs the flag. Then we have just flag equals 1, output a flag of 1, and then you are connected into yourself. Alright, so currently it's inactive. Then, the next time we get a pulse signal, can I set this to like 5? Just so that that happens quicker. Alright, I can't see what this clock signal over here even is. 2, 3, so it's gonna be close now. Wait, no, because this has to count around to like negatives or something. Oh, right. We need another thing here to count when this ticks down. So so I attached that on after the blueprint and just not done it here. So you output to there. You say if the clock is exactly equal to 0, let's say, then you can output a flag of 1, and then this needs to be a flag, and then that outputs that, and then hopefully that will toggle. Okay. So that does something. What does this even do? This output... Wait, this machine outputs a check mark. Apparently. Wait, does this just... Is this thing not even needed? This might... I might have accidentally fixed it so that this works. I don't know. I'm not going to spend that much more time staring at this. I've almost given up. Alright, what if I just take that out and just assume that the check mark is the correct... is coming in at a single pulse off of this? Because it looks kind of like it is. So when this gets greater than 5, it should output some stuff and then immediately flip around. Alright. Mewpoke, thank you for the raid. It's very cool. I am staring at combinators, trying to figure out how to get them to work, and it is not going great. Yeah, I am right on the verge of just saying I'll try to do something later. So what I'm trying to do is I have like these 2 trains which are providing this factory with ore, right? And what I want to do is I want to have one of them leave and then the other one wait. And then I want the other one to leave while this one is here unloading. So basically I want like each of these trains to just go like every 60 seconds, basically. One of them to go and alternate which one leaves. And it's kind of a struggle. Kind of a struggle. So this, I thought this would create like a latch, basically, but it seems to not be doing that. I don't know. I think I might just move on. Yeah, that's basically the explanation. I might just move on. I've been spending too long staring at this. There's all sorts of things which need to be done, and this is just one of them. So, I'm just going to do this. Use the schedule to accomplish that. Well, I mean, the thing is, I don't know like how long the trip takes for them. Like, I need them to leave. Wait until cargo unloaded or the other station is occupied. Well, but then... I want the train to be, like, actively sitting in this station waiting for the other one to leave is the problem. Like, the exact instant this one leaves, I want this one to be unloading. I don't want there to be a potential delay where they're both gone. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to give that some thinking and then come back to it later. What else is there to do? Oh, there was also... It had, like, unlocked the ability to go to another planet. What is this? Hot planet without water. And several new resources. There's lava. With weird stuff. Solar panels are more effective. Alright, neat. Less about combinators and more about an elaborate train schedule. Well, I feel like the combinators would have... I feel like the combinators would just make that train schedule more simple, right? Because, I mean, as it is, I just have to, like, figure out the signaling and then just send it in. And then I could control each train individually. I feel like nothing about combinators makes things more simple. Well, I mean, it depends. They make things more simple when you're trying to, like, achieve... When you're trying to achieve something specific, you know, combinators are frequently relatively straightforward. It's just that I sort of tried to end up doing something more complicated than I probably should have. Alright, so we are going to... Let's see, how long does this take to just make barely functional? If we just like have you go into the stations like that, so this will send both of them off at once, which isn't ideal, but it'll at least get them moving at a regular pace. And then, oh, we need to go back here and set you up to a much larger number. There we go. So now that's set up. And this is all still working, right? Yeah, so now they'll leave like every 60 or so seconds. I think it might be like 120 seconds. So that is now technically functional. So we can just leave it and figure out what we're doing next. Is all of the rest of the factory working? Okay, there's a lot of empty belts over here. Yes, so we don't have iron going into the individual thing. Alright, so what are you doing? Oh, you... Okay, you accidentally got set into the same train group as those guys, which is not great. So I guess trying to set that up like that just randomly broke all these trains over here, which I'm going to have to go over there and figure out how to get that work. Figure out how to get that to work, and then we can have our factory produce iron again. Alright, so over we go. And this, if we just set up a... So this is going to be a very scuffed, simple setup. Nowhere near that. And this is going to be something which we absolutely could just do with a schedule, but you get to have it customizable, basically. So you read train contents and send it to train. Yes, so that is that. And you need to check if let's see, if anything is no, wait, no, it would be if everything is equal to 0. Then you output that. And so that is... Okay, it didn't connect up properly. There. So that is basically the same thing as just having the schedule, except it's custom to the combinator. And... Okay, that's not ideal, but... So... Can we also read train count? Alright, so now if C is greater... No, that has to be an AND. So if C is greater than 0, which means there's a train there, which I guess lasts for a little while, but that's fine. So if there's a train and it's empty, then it does that. So that should be the same effect as the schedule we used to have, so that should be fine. And we're just going to have to wait for train to show up so that we can see if that actually works. You're over here loading up. I need to swap all those to bulk inserters, although I guess they're fast enough as it is. And then I'd never change the loading side, so you're just going to be filling up there, so that's fine. Alright, so now this train is here. And this is not outputting the signal because there's... Oh wait, this isn't going to work with that. I just need this to be custom designed for iron then. Iron ore equals 0. There we go. So that should be good. And then these are all bulk inserters, so it should unload pretty quickly and get everything running. So that is going. How long is this? There. Alright, and yeah, it empties and immediately leaves. So that is what we want to see. So that should be fully functional, and then we just have to let this iron make its way through the factory and get everything working again. Yeah, our lab research has completely stopped, probably because of the lack of iron. Yeah, looks like we're missing blue science, among other things, so that is going to take a little while to get fixed. But we should get there eventually. So, how is our... I know somewhere we have these guys. So you make the space platform things, and you are apparently all filled. So we should be able to just build a ton on the space platform, and that should be pretty handy. So we go up to here. This is making our science, and okay, we have a bunch of science up here, and it's just sitting around doing nothing because other things are the limiting factor. So I guess that's good because it means we're not going to run out of white science anytime soon. It's bad because it means that this entire thing is filled up with junk. Alright, so this is our only launch pad at the moment. And this could store a lot more white science. Let's just set you to get as much as you can, just because we might as well. That's the only thing this one is doing. And then if we go up here, do we need to limit this based on how much white science we want? Because we don't want to have a situation like this where the entire inventory is completely filled up. That would be not ideal. Alright, so this is... let's see. What do I need to do on here? So we have our science going through. This is going to be running again. And I want to be able to, I guess, increase... we don't really need the increase of white science, actually, because we have a massive backlog of it while the other stuff was all broken. Which should now be going again. Yep, it's going again. It'll take a little bit for that to all get through, but it should get through eventually. So that is that. And I think I want to be preparing for heading to the other planet. So we are going to need thrusters and probably cargo bays. Do I want to send the thing I have or make a new space platform for the journey? I feel like leaving my white science production platform just in position makes more sense. So let's see. We should set up some more space platform automation related things. All right, wait, didn't I make these guys assembly machine 3s? Yes, I did. All right, I can take you out of that then and clear you from the hotbar and put that in the hotbar, so you can be upgraded, you can be upgraded, and then we're going to want another one or two of these. So let's just automate the starter packs because I might as well. Not like it's difficult. And is that just foundations, processing units, steel plates? So you are going to get foundations, check. Processing units, check. And steel plates. Just grab a stack of each, send them into the machine. And then you can output to a passive provider chest as usual, which is going to be very heavily limited. You only need like once. Actually, how much do these guys stack? They stack to like 1. All right, let's be able to have like a couple of them, just, I don't know, just in case. So that is going. And it's getting all the stuff delivered. So the other thing in here, which I haven't automated, which I probably should, is cargo bay. And there's like one other thing as well. So cargo bay goes in. Alright. I gotta go. Yeah, hopefully see you next time. Alright, so cargo bay is that one. So we need steel plates, processing units, low density structures. Steel plates, processing units, low density structures. Processing units, low density structures, and steel plates. And so then you can output your cargo bays to over there. And we only need like, how much do these stack to? These stack to like 10. So probably just 2 stacks of those will be fine. And then the other thing we need are thrusters. So let's just keep going with this. Drones are like the coolest thing ever. So thrusters are steel plates, processing units, and electric engine units. Steel plates. And we have processing units. And we have electric engine units. So then those can output to a chest, and that gets powered on. And we only need like 2 stacks of those as well, assuming they stack to like 10. Alright, so that is all good. And we've got some of those. We've got one of those. The thrusters will be taking their time. So, then we need to make thruster fuel and oxidizer, and presumably carbon and water, iron ore and water. So yeah, that is going to be happening up on the space platform itself. So, this is going. And is that just everything in here automated? We don't have rocket silos or cargo landing pads automated. We have all of these things, though. And did I ever... No, I never automated chemical plants. I should get those done as well. And that can be just like in here somewhere. Alright, chemical plant. Requester chest. Steel gear wheels, green circuits, pipes. Steel plates. And gear wheels. And green circuits. And then go over here for pipes. There we go. Then those get to a passive provider chest. And that all gets powered on, and we just need like a couple stacks of those. Actually, maybe a couple more, since these could conceivably be used in bulk. Alright, so that's all going. How are the drones looking? The drones are doing fine. Power grid is also pretty comfortable at the moment. So this should be all good. And I can add those to my list of things to always have. Just 10 chemical plants. Alright, so that is producing. And I guess we should... How hard is it to make another rocket silo? It's pretty dang expensive. Okay. Yeah, because having multiple rocket silos would theoretically help me launch a lot more. I don't even know if I actually highly doubt that I have enough processing unit production. Okay, so this processing unit production is just completely stalled at the moment because we don't have green circuits. And the reason we don't have green circuits is because we're making a whole bunch of red circuits with them, mostly. And also we seem to be very short on iron plates. So that is because we're still having problems over here, it looks like. So we don't have enough iron plate input. So there's a train leaving full up of iron ore. And it should fully... No, it doesn't. Alright, so this is the problem. You are non-functional. Okay, iron ore equals 0. And so why is this, when we have a train that's clearly present with iron ore, why does it immediately leave? Queue up laser shooting speed. And yeah, so that is obviously no good. So how do we stop that? How do we stop that? Basically, the problem is, I guess, that this is updating faster than this is. So it looks like, I guess, the train gets into this station and then it immediately like calculates this and then exits, despite the fact so this gets set beforehand and then doesn't get turned false until the train is already decided to leave. So that's weird. It feels like it shouldn't work that way, but I guess that is the case. Maybe we just have to like delay it by like 1 frame. I don't know. So if we just do that, and then you go across, and then you go there, and then you don't output there. So then you do flag equals 1 output flag check equals 1. Alright, so then eventually someone will put that in. In the meantime, we do have a train here, which is nice. Alright, so this is currently false because the train is present and unloading. Cool. But I don't know if that actually works. Wait, that's just a wooden chest. Shouldn't you be a request? Oh no, we have the refueling coming in on this side. That's fine. Alright, so you are now leaving, I guess. Sure, you can leave, and then another train hopefully will show up soon. Hopefully. We might have to do some more weirdness over here. Alright, so we have a new train showing up. And does this magically work? No, it doesn't. Alright, that's not exactly surprising. I'm gonna run over there and see how to fix that in person. So the problem is that all of our trains need their conditions to be fed from the circuit network, which is not currently, which we just need to figure out how to get that to work properly. So this doesn't read the train. Alright, so if we just do that, so now a train will show up safely. And okay, here's what I could do. I could like invert this basically. So check that. You read if iron ore, where's that? If iron ore is greater than 0, then you are going to output a check mark, and then we just get another one, which is going to go forwards, and you are going to say if check mark equals not the letter Q, the number 1. Alright, so then wait, why am I so bad at circuit networks today? I've done so well with them like every other time I've tried them, and it's just not working out here. So you output a check if we have iron ore. So then I just need to do if check equals 0, then you output a check mark. So now this one, we put in the conditions in which it should stay, which is that if it has any iron ore. And then this one then inverts it, and will that work? Who knows? We might need to figure out how to add that delay in, if that's really just like the solution to it. So you are filling up still, but I kind of want to just like force a train to show up so that I can do science, because I need to test whether this works or not. Alright, let's just like add another train onto this set. That's never gonna hurt, right? Just having extra trains lying around. I mean, technically it'll use marginally more fuel, probably, but I don't care. Alright, so you are all set up. Then you get assigned to the iron group and set to automatic. Alright, so the signal said for it to leave, so now it's going to leave. And we're getting refunded all of the crafting materials for that guy. So you are off to load up at this station down here, which is completely filled. And this passing lane doesn't function, so we might have to do something about that at some point. So this one is almost... So that one is almost gonna make a journey. And we just have to figure out if this system works, which it feels like it shouldn't make a difference, but it might make a difference, so who knows. Alright, so that shows up and delivers a little bit, and then it gets told to leave. So that is frustrating. Wait, did I not connect those two? Yeah, okay. I never connected those two across. Okay, so you output a check, then you see that there's nothing there, so you send a check over to there, and then we're just gonna have to see if this guy comes through. So you're here, you do the same thing. Alright, what can I do to prevent that? Because it's very, very annoying. I'm reading the train count into C, but the train count includes trains that are headed over to the destination, not just trains which are actively sitting here, which is causing this problem. Because otherwise I could just tell if there was a train actively here. Alright, so that is not very useful. Okay, wait. Read stopped train? Maybe we can do that? Alright, so you don't activate until the train is actually here. So maybe that's the trick. Let's see. So if we go to signal T is... Wait, how do we do this? So we want the train to stay if it's not equal to 0, maybe? Wait, no, if it is equal to 0? Alright, maybe that'll work. It's kind of weird and janky, but theoretically, yes. So now that just gives it long enough for it to figure out how much iron is in it, and then it gets it working again. Alright, problem solved. Also, this radar might as well get powered. I don't know. Probably doesn't make much of a difference, but there you go. Alright, so we have a steady supply of iron ore once more. And hopefully that will get these things running again. I don't even know where all these guys were getting their iron from. Like, how did this not run out? Who knows? I guess that particular belt just wasn't using much, but weird. Anyways, this is now all functional. We have green circuits producing now, which means we have blue circuits getting produced. Alright. I think we're all good. I think we have actually managed to successfully rebuild the factory this time. Science is going. All of these guys have been built. I mean, some of them are still waiting on blue circuits, it looks like. Yeah, that's entirely unsurprising. Alright, so let's try adding a space platform. So this is going to be transport platform. So we do that, and that has been requested and is now being launched. And building this is probably going to take a fair amount of work getting it set up. So up you go. And now we have another rocket being prepared. Alright. So transport platform now exists. So what do you need in order to function? You're going to need some solar panel stuff, probably. So let's get some solar panels. Okay, well actually let's start with like the pure basics. So we need thrusters. And I mean, this is just going to be like dedicated pure, just only doing this one thing. So we might as well be kind of fast. So let's just say you get, let's see, how do these work? I think we need space between them in order to get those pipes working. So yeah, because we need, actually hang on. Let's figure out these thrusters. So we need to pipe in 2 fluids into them, and they need to like cross over weirdly. I don't know. This might be possible, maybe. So if we just have, no, we need more space. Let's just send you out to there and then have this be nice and symmetrical like that. And that should definitely be enough space. So that goes over to there. This one, this is definitely not the best way of doing this, but whatever. Goes up there and like that. So you are set to auto request missing construction materials. And not enough to fill. Alright, I don't know what's going on there. So this will then have its thrusters. And then that, we just need to then work backwards, I guess. So we just need to work backwards to like the thruster fluids, which, how do you even make those? In chemical plants, I think I remember. Yes, so we're going to need chemical plants. Each of these produces 75 of their fluids. And these need 240 total. Did you really just bring up? Okay, no, you did bring up all that. And so we need chemical plants up there. And if they make 75 and use 240 of each, that means we're going to need like a couple of chemical plants. So let's just get them built, and then we can worry about their exact location later because we just want to get the rockets going. So this is 2 plants per input per rocket, so we need like 8 of these guys. 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's the correct amount of chemical plants. Then those, laser shooting speed, very cool. And let's see, what else do we want to unlock here? How about, that looks fancy. Do we have, I don't think we even have yellow science producing yet. Let's just do inserter capacity bonus. That's always nice. So that is that. And we're now just like queuing up rockets to do all this. So we need iron ore, carbon, and water. So we need this to get some asteroid collecting going and some crushing. So let's go up to here, and we are going to get a couple of crushers, and how much are these guys going to need? So you get set to... We're going to have one set to each, just so that I can see what the production speeds are. Okay, wait, that's worse than usual. Why is that half what it said it would be? Oh, because that's giving absolute products, not speeds. Alright, so that is worse. Let's just go down to one engine then, and I guess we're just going to be taking our time on the journey or something. Means all these pipes weren't necessary, but whatever. So you can then be nice and centralized, like that. Alright, we're still going to need a bunch of these guys. So, that's going to be 120. So that's 75, 100 something, and then that's the final number. And then we do that for those guys, and that's all set up. And we can probably even productivity module these if we really wanted to. Or we could speed module them, but... So this is then going to need 4 carbon and 4 carbon, 4 iron, and 40 water. So you make 10 iron, so that's just enough there. You make 5 carbon, which is enough. And then you are going to be making some ice. And then we have to make chemical plants to turn the ice into water. So we're going to need another couple of those. Alright, so you are going to be doing this, and that gives us 20, and we need 40, so that is that. Building a factory keeps being trial and error, space no exception. Yep, pretty much. We're just working things out. Alright, so this should be processing from the asteroids into these. I don't know why all this stuff isn't getting launched. Oh, the reason, duh, is because we don't have rockets. Alright, so then I need to figure out how much power this is all going to be. So this is a fair amount, so let's get solar panels in. And those can just go over here. And just a big chunk of them. 180 kilowatts each. These use more than that each, and the crushers use way more than that. So this is 8, 12, 13 machines there. This is... Alright, we're going to need more solar panels. Probably. I don't know. Something like that should be good enough at least. And then we just need the... asteroid collectors to feed this whole thing. And again, not being super picky on the exact placement, we just need to get them so that we have the right quantity and something like... Actually, if this... Yes, something like that, and then we're probably going to want a couple over on this side as well. So yeah, I don't know. We are going to need way more rocket launchers in order to get anywhere with this. So let's find rocket silo and get those auto-crafting so that we can just place down like a couple of them. Alright, Quester chest and an inserter and a passive provider chest and an inserter. You get powered, you get told to make rocket silos. This is going to get down to just a couple. I assume rocket silos are single stacks. Yes. So let's actually have this just give us like 3 spare, and then we need steel plates. We need steel plates, so let's set that up. We're going to need blue circuits because everything needs blue circuits, so let's get that set up. Then we need engines, pipes, and concrete. So electric engines, check. Pipes, where are those? Check. And concrete, check. Alright, so that is going. This is apparently launching something. And I saw that we weren't getting blue circuits. Alright, these are going just kind of slowly. And they're using old productivity modules, which I should definitely go through and improve some of these guys to use better productivity modules. So you get upgraded. And you get upgraded. Like that. Where else is there that is relying on inputs that doesn't have correct numbers of modules? Okay, these wires just need these. It's so much copper that is being just basically wasted by that. So we can get those in. Might as well get those set up as well. So these green circuit producers are Mark II assemblers with no modules. So if I upgrade them to Mark III producers and then I give them productivity modules, then it'll still be faster and it'll be more efficient. So that's pretty neat. And this isn't, I believe, the only source of green circuits in the factory. There's somewhere else, right? Or did we never actually loop these green circuits up here down into anything? No, they just do their own thing. Okay, that's fine though. Alright, so this is all going. And our production of green circuits should be better. Our demand for green circuits should be lower. And that should be all set. What else is there? We can make pipes faster or something. We can make all of this science stuff faster producing. Is blue science still the bottleneck? Yes, blue science is still the bottleneck. So let's go up there and upgrade those. And by this point, it looks like they're running around the clock, but they just aren't very fast. So let's upgrade them. And if you're running around the clock, you don't need productivity modules, especially since you're like the major limiting factor for everything. So let's just give you some speed modules, and then the productivity modules you have we can upgrade, I guess. So we have that. And we are launching rockets every so often. You have productivity module Mark 1s. and you're short on blue circuits, or at least very close to being short on blue circuits. So I don't know if I want to change anything about that. Our quest to craft another one of these guys is taking a while. Yeah, I think blue circuits are starting to have a serious shortage. So I can head down there and make those Mark III assemblers, and that will help a little bit. So down we go. So those all are extra fast. And I don't want to put more modules in them because that'll just slow them down. So they can just go. Oh, that one is using only Mark 1 modules. Whatever, that's fine. And actually, now that they're faster, they might be green circuit limited again. There's so much just running around fixing stuff here. I really need to get to the point of upgrading blue circuit production. Because now it's actively just stopping our ability to make anything. Like we aren't launching rockets because of this guy. How did our platform end up looking? You've got some stuff in. You have a lot still being requested, though. So that's not ideal. Can we expand this production out? No, we're short on green circuits, so anything that we do would just basically be a waste of time. If the last couple machines are item ingredient shortages, then we can speed up production by making it more efficient, so let's just do that. And then, I don't know, maybe we can... No, that's going to be too hard to fit without moving this over, I guess. We could fit 1 or 2 more machines in here. I don't know if it would make much of a difference. So if we head over here, green circuits actually look like they might be oversaturating the belt because it's a slow belt. Alright, let's do steel plate productivity, I guess. That'll be something for it to work on for a while. Alright, now it looks like low power. Oh boy. Okay, that's a problem. We cannot have low power while the solar panels are down. Yeah, I guess we turned on like a whole large portion of the factory, which has been off for a while and concealing our power shortages. Alright, so we need to get down to the south bit and place in some more solar panels. And that's really gonna be annoying because of the drones. So we do not... So the drones are gonna come down here and use a whole lot of power placing more solar panel systems. And that is just going to be what it is. So we get this blueprint. And I guess I will place in... Probably need to get like a bunch of these in. So you exist, you exist. Let's just put in another 3 and make this a nice 3x3 row. And then the drones are going to go crazy. So we'll see how well they can handle all that. Meanwhile, the power grid is still kind of struggling. It looks like we are producing enough, barely. and that's before the impact of the drones. Yeah, this is rough. Just have to get as much of this new stuff active as possible. And it looks like the solar panels are going in pretty quick. There's a whole bunch of capacitors which are realistically not going to be used for a while we have these power problems. And we are short on actual solar panels and capacitors. I keep calling them capacitors, they're accumulators, technically. As long as all this stuff gets placed in properly, then yeah, so production is going up. Of course, demand is completely insane. And our accumulators are still not quite managing it. Yeah, so this is rough. If we get attacked by a lot of biters right now, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And there isn't much we can do about that other than just hope that this stuff all gets built quickly and doesn't take too long. So currently, it looks like a large portion of this isn't attached up properly. We don't have all of the power poles in. Although we do have enough physical power poles, so it's just going to be a question of how long it takes the drones to get down here. And we are currently registering as like 100 almost of each short. So that's rough. We're still pulling wood out of that section. I could maybe like expand out our emergency steam power, but that seems like a lot of work when the real solution is to just have the solar panels working properly. We are going. It is daytime currently, and our power grid is keeping up. So we have that. But it's a pretty close one, and as soon as night falls, we're going to be in crisis again, because we do not have basically any storage. Now that big yellow spike is the roboports, and it's trending down, so that's definitely good. And yeah, our accumulators are actually now the #1 power draw, which is a very good sign. So if we can just get the accumulators filled as much as possible, and then get these guys producing. Why do I have one singular speed module in here? It's not even a fast one. All right, let's get you to go very quickly and produce the accumulators that we need, and then we can head up here and do the same thing with the solar panels. So these are all working fine. So they should be okay to be upgraded. And we might actually need... Yeah, it doesn't look like we have enough green circuits for all of these guys. Or if we do, it's very, very close. Alright, night is falling, power is crashing, and we're going to be in a world of hurt now. Although, hopefully the accumulators can last us a little bit. So as long as we keep as long as the accumulators can make the power outage during the night relatively short, it'll be fine. Because like this, the totally inactive is pretty brief. You can normally get some power, at least. So all of this is going. The accumulators are all running. Most of the solar panels are in, except for down here. And we have run out of power, it looks like. Yep. So now satisfaction is just this tiny little chunk from the steam engines. So that's not ideal. So one thing which I was considering is if I just like get a whole bunch of asteroid mining going up in space, the solar panels up there are more effective and they don't need accumulators, which means that theoretically, and they also don't provide pollution up there, so theoretically, if I like make a lot of my iron processing up in space, then we would be able to save a whole lot of the power problems down here on Earth, which would be pretty neat. So the whole factory is running in slow motion, but the solar panels are starting back up again, and we have power once more. Alright, so that is good. I have to imagine that this... yeah, so you are not getting much anywhere in terms of launching stuff. The transport platform still needs several hundred of those. And a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Okay, yeah, so now the thing that I was worried about is happening, apparently. The biters are attacking, and our power isn't great. So that's probably why we lost this laser turret, although it's not a guarantee. Let's make the walls there double thick, and place another turret in. I guess you can go like in there. Alright, so that should be fine. Solar panels are back up to full, and we are producing accumulator charge. So I think we're more or less through the worst of it. Factory is running again. But we are going to need to save a whole lot of power. We're going to need to produce a whole bunch of power, and these solar panels are fine, I guess. But we need to produce them faster. We need to produce the solar panels faster so that we can do massive upgrades more frequently. And I think, actually, let's just fully allow us to have full boxes of accumulators and solar panels. Like, we want these to just be running all the time, I think. That'll be much, much better. So these guys are producing, and that's an end product, so I'm not going to be able to productivity module it. Alright, so we go up here. This is still waiting on processing units to launch anything. And this is still waiting on processing units to craft anything. How has this not even made a single one in all this time? That's crazy. I guess 200 processing units is a lot. I'm surprised it's still needing steel, though. Oh, they overfill them just a little bit so that they can do like 2 cycles in a row or something, I guess. Probably that. Alright, that's fine. You're going to need to be extra productivity modules for when you do get more. Alright, so science is chipping along very slowly. The power grid is going well, and the accumulators are charging to a degree that they have never gotten charged before. So that's pretty cool. We might still, even now, need more power. It's hard to say, but we're going to have to look carefully at our power production. And yeah, so let's let's see here. Is there anything we can do aside from just waiting? Green circuit production is going as it usually does. Blue circuits are producing as fast as they can get green circuits, which is not very fast. Our red circuit stockpile is lower than it ever has been. So let's make this so these guys can be extra fast and then also extra efficient. And that will drain green circuits in the short term, but will just be very beneficial overall. So that is going. How do we fix the green circuit limitation problem? So first of all, we need this belt to be Mark II. It's kind of crazy that it isn't. So let's just get all this stuff in. And across. And then you can go over to here, and then past this point, the red circuit demand is probably going to be enough that we're not going to need to Mark II, although actually past that point it's just inherently Mark II anyways, so that's fine. The solar panels are all in. The accumulators are still not. And how is charge going? So charge is dropping off. We should have, if we had enough solar panels, we should have the right number of accumulators. It is lasting decently well. It's not completely collapsing, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Alright, so this, we should almost be at the point where our solar power is starting to come back on again. And we still do have some accumulator charge. Yeah, so there we go. So the amount that the accumulators are being drained is going to be decreasing. And that should, I mean, we might barely run out still. We might just barely run out. But I think we're gonna barely make it instead. Actually, no, we are gonna run out a little bit here. That's annoying. And we do not have these stockpiles of accumulators to do anything about that. So there we go. And actually, maybe we make it. All right, I think we make it. Yeah, we're good with like 1% charge to spare. Well, that was spooky. But next time around, we will have more solar panels and more accumulators. So we should be good for now. Now this is short on batteries. And these are, we have plenty of sulfuric acid there. So let's take productivity modules out and make those guys pure speed. So that should, okay, even then it doesn't keep up with this battery demand, but it'll be much better at least. And we are just gonna, let's see here, how much do we have to do this? Alright, so you don't even get productivity modules. Unfortunate. So that's technically like about right, basically. If we had battery stockpiles, we would be a lot better off, but we do not. And we now have enough accumulators, probably. Or very close to it. So I am happy with that. So just the last couple ones getting placed in there. And is this going to fully charge? Because if it doesn't fully charge, we're completely doomed. Because we needed every last bit of charge in order to make it through last night. So that is going to be rough if we can't. It looks promising. Who knows? It looks promising, but hopefully we just like get enough solar panels in and then it's fine. Because now we have extra solar panel production and we are now getting extra accumulator production. And those are just going to keep on stockpiling for quite a while. So if the power isn't out of hand now, we should be able to improve it to the point where it's okay. Now let's head up here. We still haven't made a single one of these. We're not even close somehow. We're still short on blue circuits in most places. We have plenty stockpiled in these machines, but taking out of them is just very much not an ideal long-term solution. Alright, we just need more green circuit production. That's like what everything boils down to. So, let's see how we can do that. If we just like get drones making the trip across, will that actually help? Let's give that a try. So, because we have all of these, we have these green circuit producers up here, and they are going. So, if we just take this belt and get you to be a passive provider chest, and then we just go down here. Let's see, past the red circuits probably. Yeah, let's go past the red circuits. And actually, where do they fit? They fit in there. Requester chest, and you are going to request like a bunch of green circuits. Then that should be all set up. So that is bringing them down, and that's just emptying wherever our green circuit logistic storage currently is. But once we get this going, and we might want to make you a bulk inserter, maybe. Yeah, let's do that. You can be a bulk inserter. That seems like a good idea. So now we can fly green circuits from there down to here, and it'll cost a ton of power. But it'll cost a ton of power to have just a constant stream of drones doing that, but it will be worth it if we can get blue circuit production going in the long run. In the short run, we're gonna have a problem with power, but that is, yeah, that's going to be an issue. We only have 45 of those, and this blueprint needs 172 to place even one. So we're nowhere especially close to that. This power is not going to last through the night. It's not even going to be close. So yeah, we're in a bit of rough shape. We are definitely in a rough situation here. And we just have to hope that it magically improves. The red circuit demand is still going as fast as it can. Alright, so that is going. We have more blue circuit production now. It looks like this is helping a lot. And it actually looks like this could also use a bulk inserter just to output everything fast enough. And that's not going to be quite a full side of the belt, but it should be plenty. And that should stop being such heavy demand soon. Alright, it looks like we hit 0 for like a split second and then recovered. Power demand is spooky stuff here. How is this going? You are still down at 64. Although, let's see here. If we actually check the power, that is getting up to like 9.4. So we can just like place some extra solar panels down because our blueprint is slightly more accumulators than necessary, and to handle all our solar power production. Alright, so we are losing some drones. That's fine. Let's just like get over here and I don't know, just like if we can just like jam in an extra row of solar panels or something, that'll be marginally helpful. There. So we have a couple more solar panels than we otherwise would. Maybe that'll make a slight difference. It's kind of gross building, but whatever. And yeah, I think I do want to try and see how it works out to like shift a lot of our production into space, because we can get iron, copper. We can get iron in space pretty easily at the moment. We need future research to get like copper and coal in space, but it is possible. So if we just do that, then it'll be fine. Alright. So the transport platform has apparently been continuing to build in the meantime. That's good. Yeah, so it is getting blue circuits. And where was the donut? Oh, it disappeared. It figured itself out, apparently. So we're not, like, obviously building this. We're just, like, getting all the stuff that we need up here, which is quite a bit of effort with our rocket launches currently being as slow as they are. And I am going to limit you down to just one slot so that we can hopefully not go too crazy with them. Alright, we are mostly at a period of trying to keep everything functional right now, which means preferably keeping the power situation nice and stable would be pretty cool. Although I don't know if we have enough still. We might. There's not much we can do to actually hurry this up. I mean, these guys are going as fast as they can, and it's not fast enough for this. So this is 0.2 every second. So that's 1 every 5 seconds, and we need a decent chunk. Alright, so this is functioning now. So we don't have any shortage of green circuits or red circuits here. It's just going. The sulfuric acid is apparently fine. There's 47 some. Those are both 9 each. And that's like basically nothing. That's like actually insane how small the amount of sulfuric acid that these machines require is. Alright. Can I fit another battery production in here somewhere? probably, if I'm very clever about it... Actually, this is just like perfectly designed to not have anywhere with enough space. That's hilarious. Maybe if I go like this might work. No, because then where do you output it to? Wait, actually, I think maybe it does. So you go into there. You are going to be making batteries. And you're going to be making them at max speed. Okay, then we need to get a pipe from here down. And how does that get in? It needs to go down across all that. Alright, so if we loop you across this way, there's a small spaceship wreck in the way. So if you are there, then you can go underground into that, and now you are working. Then if we put a belt there, and a long output inserter there, then this is good. Then we take you into an underground pipe. You can go up there and insert into there. Alright, we found the room for an additional battery production area. So that is nice. And now that means that we can make these guys slightly faster. So that now takes 1.37 batteries per second, and we are making more than that, I think. So that's cool. Power demand is still sketchy, but we managed to make it through more comfortably this time. It's like half a gigawatt left before we start going back up. Alright. This is up to 143 accumulators. This needs 172. Honestly, that's good enough to be worth placing. And actually, can I just... I don't want to have to run all the way down there. Blueprint. This guy gets placed in. Okay, we can't continue the grid because there's trains there. So we're going to send you down there instead. And you just go in like that. And let's... Screw it. We don't have the resources to build a second one, but we might as well have it queued up and ready to go. We have most of the solar panels at least, so that will be helpful. And so that will get set up over the course of the day, and hopefully enough of it will be built up that it won't completely ruin the night. So that's going. Check up here. Blue circuits still not going well. And they are still producing at adequate speeds, so that's fine. Steel plate productivity crashed. Why is that? Because of not enough engines. Okay, so we can make these guys all a lot faster. So you just get to be Mark III, and the energy consumption there is really not ideal under the exact situation we find ourselves in. Like, it would be fine if we weren't actively, desperately struggling for power. So I guess we're just gonna leave these as they are. Oh, you're not actually short engines? Or, well, you're kind of short engines, but mostly it's red circuits that are the problem now. Okay, so the red circuits are going, but They're not looking too great. They look like they're producing at full speed, but this is 0.6 per second. These guys down here are more than half of that. And, I mean, these guys up here are way more than that. Alright, so that's fine. We're just gonna have to... We're gonna have to increase red circuit production. Which, actually... I know how to do that. Didn't we have a... Did we ever bring this belt of red circuits down into the factory? We did, but they're... So first of all, they're mostly item ingredient short. And... Yeah, okay, so we need to go up there and fix those guys then. That whole area can get upgraded assemblers and everything. Power is looking much, much better this time around. So, unless there's also more demand, which there probably will be because of all those drones I sent out, we should be either good or close to good on power. So step one is make all these guys Mark III assembly machines. Step two is give them all the productivity modules they could ever want. So that is going. We are actively short on productivity modules, which is not great. And let's see, these guys are not getting much copper wire, are they? Yeah, I mean, hardly any is going through there. What's wrong with you guys? Not enough copper. Alright, well then you can also get some tier 1 productivity modules at least. Alright, so the power grid is starting to go down now. The tier 1 copper wire is mostly all just going out on that one belt. So we are not getting enough copper ore. That's sort of the root of our problems right now. So where was our copper mine? Is that over here? Yeah, a significant portion of this is currently down. And that is showing in this. Although it might just be delays from trains not going through. Hard to say for certain. But, I mean, it is definitely improved right in the short term. But yeah, I think we need another copper mine. Which I don't happen to see. Okay, no, there's plenty off to the west. That's okay. So we can get around to that at some point. But in the short term, is there anything at all along these roads that we can productivity module? These guys are steel furnaces, which have no module slots. I hate that. That's terrible. Alright, let's fix that. So you guys all go away. You do not want steel furnaces in here. What have you done? Why are you outputting copper plates onto these random belts? Actually, that technically works, I guess. Oh wait, no, this is actually very bad. So that's actually outputting the coal and stuff onto all these belts. Alright, that's a mess. I really hate it when inserters just decide to do something. Like they could have just not done that. we need to take this whole row off. We're gonna need to, yeah, we're gonna need to take all of this out, basically, and rework this into electric furnaces. But before that, we need to find all the places where copper, where coal ended up instead of copper. So that's all the way out to here. So let's stand here and grab all this stuff off the belt. And then drones are going to be carrying all that stuff away. So there we go. Okay, let's just automate this. So you get a bulk inserter, which we're going to filter to do solid fuel and coal into a box. So that should get most of it, at least. Yeah, from this line. So there we go. That is sorted. Now, where else did the copper belt split out to? Because it's probably gone in all sorts of places now. It went along here. It went up here. And along this way, although it looks like it, fortunately, the throughput wasn't that high on that side, so not much actually wound up on the belt. So let's just get that all cleared out. I think we're fine. And anywhere else, I think it's all okay. So now we just suck up that last remaining bit. And where are the electric furnaces? Here they are. So these just go in. We line them up like this. And then they will start re-smelting copper. Okay, I want this to be a nice pattern, so we can just go like that. And this belt needs to extend out a little bit more. Alright, then we get our power poles, which just go sort of every other, like this. And then we get long-handled outputs. So these all go in. And this is going to be, I believe, less copper production than we had, because there are just less machines here, which we could fix with speed modules if we wanted to. Alright, so that is now going. And how does the power situation look? So that last night we got down to like there and then back up. That's probably fine. Alright, so we have copper wire. The factory is functioning again. So that's cool. And then we just have to figure out if we want to speed module these or productivity module them, basically. That's what it comes down to. It looks like their output past the wires isn't very high. Yeah, I think we're speed modulating them. Or at least... I don't know, let's... Actually, let's... I don't know, maybe we could do like a beacon-related thing to have both. I forgot how short we are on productivity modules. I don't know, so now we're like partially more efficient, partially faster, just sort of not perfect. either way. We're going to have to run back and take another look at that at some point. Alright, so this is all going. And... Alright, you are currently supplying green circuits. I don't know how plastic got in here. Someone get rid of that. But, yeah, I don't know how that plastic got there. The rest of this looks like it's more or less going fine. Productivity module production is very slow. Red circuit production is extremely slow. But we are making blue circuits still. And it looks like we are getting enough red circuits, at least for now. Alright, so if we check up here, this is up to 143. So it's like 3/4 of the way to making our thing. This is... We have another rocket ready to launch already. And it's just a matter of filling it with stuff, I guess. So you need a whole lot of stuff. So let's okay, now it did eventually send up some just boring stuff. So that's fine. We can do that. Alright, so this, we are still producing away at improving our power situation. But we should be pretty solid on that front. It's dicey, but we're not running out. And it is just going to be getting better as those solar panels get placed in. So hopefully that's okay. I really, really want to just get this to the point where we can build like decent sized space platforms with like a couple rockets launching it to make it fast. Because then we can start doing cool stuff like mass mining of the asteroids. But we're mostly just limited by this, I think. Like at this point, these guys just not being very fast is like our main problem. Alright, what if actually I have an idea. We can get a beacon. Where are our beacons? There's one. So you can just go in there. And then you can go in there. So we're going to get an extra machine and an extra beacon in, I think. It shouldn't be too hard. So you get productivity modules. And you get powered. And then this pipe has to go underground over to there. And then it just goes in like that. And then this just... I don't know. That's not going to work probably. I think this just is going to be doing its own separate output. So you can just output directly to another passive provider chest, which is going to be powered on. And then you get speed modules, so that these two can go super fast, and that will hopefully get blue circuits producing fast enough to be not completely ridiculous. Although it looks like what's actually going to happen is we're just going to burn through all of our green circuits, and this one bulk inserter doesn't look like it's up to the task of keeping up. Alright, that's better though, at least. I mean, this is what we want our circuits to be doing, so that's fine. I'm not a big fan of just like the constant drones going. Although, where actually is that? The drone ports are this little cyan thing down here. It's actually not that bad. Although maybe we'll have like increased it with this recent change, but who knows. Alright, so this is just actively not getting any copper plates, which is just because the belts are slow and our production isn't as fast as it was previously. Which means I think we just have to bite the bullet and make all of these speed modules, which is not great for our efficiency, but whatever. We'll get there eventually. Alright, so that is as fast as these guys can go, which is probably comparable to what it was before at this point. It's hard to say for certain, but we're also using a whole lot of copper on wires. Yeah, I really wish that this whole factory wasn't designed this way. Also, we didn't get nearly as much accumulator charge as we did last time around. That giant blue thing is the assembly machines. That giant blue thing... So the assembly machines are still going crazy, and that's probably... I mean, that's not all this, is it? So your consumption is like 2 megawatts as an individual machine. I guess that is quite a lot. Alright, so I don't know what caused those to all go absolutely crazy, but we are once again having power problems. Alright, yeah, this is just terrible. We're still having power problems, and we're still building as much as we can. So this is just relying on that. You are one of the ones who got the fuel on the belts instead of copper. So we're just gonna have to fix that real quick. And now we hit a low power situation, although it is getting better. I don't understand why all of our assembly machines suddenly started draining insane amounts of power all at once. Like I didn't do that much increases in assembly machine 3s, did I? Who knows? But anyways, we are mostly through the night. Power is up to like 90%. Alright, we need so much more power production. So basically our two options are power production or try to move things that require power so that they don't require power. So we do have that, where's that other type of module? Efficiency modules. We could try to slap those in some various places that aren't really needing... What's the downside to this? It's just energy consumption minus, so it's just anything that's a normal machine. I guess we should give it an efficiency module just to save on power. Alright, well, let's see here. We are set up. What drains the most power? Well, it's mostly my assembly machines, basically. Which, I don't know why they've suddenly started doing that, but they certainly have. Like, it was a lot lower until just recently when it spiked up hugely. So, we're gonna have to figure out. Yeah, probably the speed modules, but I don't think I placed that many speed modules recently. I don't know. But yeah, we we mostly just need more power. The efficiency module thing is probably just more hassle than it's worth, especially since we're short on red circuits and green circuits. So I think we probably just deal with it and place more power buildings. The drones... How much power are the drones taking? They are the pink one. Alright, so it's really not all that much compared to the assembly machines, which are going absolutely crazy. So this is making accumulators, and it looks like it's doing mostly fine. And our solar panels are up here, and they look like they're doing mostly fine, although they're not getting enough green circuits because everywhere is short on green circuits. Because why wouldn't they be? Alright, yeah, everything in the factory is just sort of not going super great. We really need to fix this power problem. That's like the #1 priority. But in order to fix that, we need like more production of like 20 different things. Like we need more batteries. We need more accumulators. We need more of whatever it is we make solar panels out of, which is green circuits. Yeah, basically, in order to fix the power production problem, we need more of everything. Got uranium? I don't have the research yet. But yeah, I might have to go and do that. It's what I did last time. I want to see what the solar power stuff is like. But yeah, I don't have the research for that at the moment. And yeah, so this is going. We are producing more power stuff, so this is better than it was before, at least. And it's getting better all the time. But okay, so we have plenty of storage. We don't have nearly enough solar panels, which we're crafting both of those and short on both of them, so I guess that's just is what it is. Can we... How much is this? This is like nothing, right? It's not a great amount for just like setting up a quick emergency steam power. I guess I should set up a quick emergency steam power. How many steam engines? I don't have those automated either, but they're pretty simple. And oh, boilers require stone furnaces. Okay, that's also super annoying to build. It also requires me to automate like 5 things that I don't want to automate. Okay, I guess we... Let's see. So this relatively small thing here, well, it also requires burning coal and stuff. Yeah, okay. Setting up a steam power system like that doesn't seem very productive. I think we just need these construction things to come through. We're 38 solar panels short of our current blueprint, and then we need a couple more. Okay, so these ones up here are draining a lot of power, and they're item ingredient short up there because we don't have red circuits. I'm trying to figure out just like which machines. Okay, it's just dropped off significantly since then, so whatever machines were draining all that power, they have apparently finished doing whatever it is they were doing. Alright, so we might make it through this night. Our solar power is going up. So if we can make it through whatever that was, then maybe it'll be okay. These are low power now. But we did end up successfully making our second rocket silo, so that's nice. Okay, now we're short on low density structures instead of blue circuits. That's surprising. Where's low density structures? That's these ones over here, and they are steel, copper, and plastic. So they have plastic, they have steel, don't have copper, because it is all making wires. We'd have to make it through this whole gauntlet first. And that's not even efficient. But making them more efficient will just add more power demand, which I can't handle at the moment. This is such a vicious cycle. Alright, steel plate productivity is still researching, so that'll be nice, I guess. What else is there that I could be researching during all this? Nothing like extremely interesting that jumps out to me. Alright, so this line here is where we make our copper, and it's hasn't got any modules at all. Now if I add modules, it's gonna add a bunch of power demand, and electric furnaces are already like a pretty big power demand. But I can't just not. So congratulations, the first couple of you guys are all more efficient now. And let's just check actually, power comparison. That's like 300 kilowatts. That one with only one is like 200. So it's like double the power basically. Yeah, actually plus 120%. Okay, that's just something that we're going to have to deal with if we want to get anything functioning ever in this factory. It looks like... Okay, we're 13 solar panels short now of that entire section. And our accumulator charge is going up pretty quick. So that's nice. Maybe we can finally get ahead of things for once. So last time we capped out at like 8.6. In the past, capping out at like 9.4 was enough to have us be stable. And now we can go up to like 12, theoretically. Alright, so that is pretty good. Accumulators are charging. Though the assembly machines are also still doing stuff, unfortunately. Yeah, I kind of took for granted just how much power my nuclear setup in my previous save did. Like, I basically had to upgrade it once or twice in the entire playthrough. So I think that might be a future goal, is to just get nuclear set up and not have to worry about power for a while. I don't know. I do want to try using solar panels for more stuff. So we'll see how manageable it is to keep expanding this. We are just about finished with our current upgrade. Alright, now our solar panel production isn't capped all the time because the accumulator charge is full. So that's cool. This is still going, and still not having any luck making low density structures when we have all this wire to make. And the green circuits are going all the way through there and into this box. Actually, this box... Alright, we can stop that there, actually. And that will be quite helpful, I think. We don't need that box to be as full as it is. And down here, this is going. It's mostly red circuit shortages, which isn't going to be really affected by those couple machines. It's going to be this giant row up here, which is not getting any wire because of the whole green circuit situation. Alright, so the green circuit should now be backlogging, which should mean we get copper wire through here. Hopefully. Alright, green circuits are just about officially backlogged. So hopefully... yeah, so now we are getting copper wire through. So that's nice. And now we're making red circuits up here again. But I probably just need to, like, improve... okay, the copper input is just, like, nowhere close to enough, it seems. So we're mostly feeding off of, like, half of one belt for this entire thing. And that's partially just because of the way that this is organized. Yeah, this is not ideal. This is not ideal at all. Alright, so what if I had you go like that, and then past those first three, and then in there. Why are you rotated like that? Alright, then you can also get that. So hopefully this will encourage the copper input to actually use all of this stuff, the other side of the belt. Alright, so now all of those guys don't have power. We're going to have to make sure that they're connected properly again. And yeah, that's definitely a source of problems. Power is going significantly better now, but still pretty awful. But we did make it through that time. And so this is running again. These couple belts and that power pole still need to get placed in to use that to the full extent. We need these belts so that we can get stuff into these inserters and across onto this side of the belt, because currently that is simply not happening, and the drones are just being very slow about it. There we go. So that should get us to more or less a full belt there, which should help all the way along the line. And we might... do we want to figure out, like, how to run a second whole belt up here? No, it's probably fine. I mean, this is much, much better than it was. Previously it was like a quarter of a belt, now it's like half a belt. That's something. Alright. So there we go. There is our improved copper supply flowing through. And let's see, so these are just outputting about as fast as they input, which means that we aren't really making much progress in terms of having a buffer. So that's not ideal, but I guess we'll have to see how it looks when this train leaves. So if we look back up here, it looks like we are actually running all of our copper smelters. And yeah, I mean, none of these have run in ages, probably. We're not getting any copper plates across there. which is quite the nuisance. So we don't need these productivity modules anymore, actually, because now that we have theoretically enough copper, I think, unless it's going to change very, very quickly when this all runs out, which it probably will. I don't know why that one has like 1.3k and all the rest of these are virtually empty. So yeah, now that is going to go, and we are going to drop right back down to a very, very depressing amount of copper until the train comes around to fix it. And this is going to take forever to load. You need to be bulk inserters all along that. And all of you as well. Alright, so that should be something in terms of just getting you to load the train up faster. And we don't have... Do we not have a single other copper train? Is it just that one? Yes, it is just that one. So I think we want to add another one as well, so that we can have two, like one at each station basically, although we might get stuck if we do that. I don't know, let's see. So we are going to craft all that up. You are going to get a train limit. Wait, actually no, you can't have a train limit, can you? Because of the way that this all works. That's a bit awkward, but it should work out, hopefully. So you get placed in, and a train refueler, and a drone port, apparently. There you go. So you get added to... This other one needs to get given a copper group. So you are assigned to a group which is copper. And then you get assigned to that group. Set to automatic. Give you some fuel, and off you go. Alright, that should be that. We've once again managed to somehow not quite run out of copper here before the next wave came in, but basically ran out of copper. So that is going, and then the other one should be down here. I believe that's probably it. Yeah, so it's down here, loading up and getting ready to go. How much copper is here? 700k? Not terrible, but not great either. So we're gonna need to get our new copper spot pretty soon. For now, though, this is functioning. And I guess we should stop here and let them resupply us. Alright. We ran out of power again, because of course we did. And we are just like building up a supply of solar panels and accumulators for the next batch of those, which apparently we need very badly. I mean, at least the power outages aren't super long. That's the nice thing. We have enough power to make it like most of the way through. Although this one was longer than most, actually. Why was that? What was using more power than usual? It's hard to say. Let's go over, see what our stockpiles of accumulators and solar panels look like. We should have a lot of them. We have 162 accumulators, which is really quite a good number. And solar panels, we only have 62. That's much worse. And that's because these are relying on green circuits, which is pretty terrible. So let's just get let's just get you on, because you can request green circuits, and we have a whole bunch of them in that box. So you can get green circuits going much, much faster. And we're going to make that whole row like that. So now, that box needs to just stop existing. That is no longer our main source of green circuits in the logistics system. We don't want to be taking stuff off of that belt when we don't need to. We want to be putting stuff in that belt from up north, where we have this giant box, which is getting less giant. Looks like it's still fine, hopefully. Okay, yeah, this whole situation is pretty awful, but we're getting through it. I mean, now that we have that making green circuits, solar panel production should jump back up again. We got our steel production, so that's cool. And we might as well, I guess, do... What is calcite production? What is that? Mine entity calcite. Alright. That's going to be something on some other planet, I guess. Let's unlock uranium mining, because it seems like that is going to be very useful for not having power problems. I don't know if I'm going to end up using it as opposed to just like massively scaling up solar power, but if I do end up wanting to set up a nuclear thing, then having it will be very nice. Alright, so we can get that going. So now we have electric engines producing again, apparently, which apparently we didn't have for a long time. And more importantly, we have solar panels going. So solar panels are now producing at approximately full speed. And that should hopefully bail us out of this situation. So let's get just like a couple of these, because I'm going to wrap up the stream because it is right about time. Yep, I think that's our first destination, partially because I'm pretty sure I saw that it had cliff explosives there, which would be very handy for dealing with terrain. Alright, so let's just get a whole bunch of these queued up, and like we can just like be building these passively in the background while I worry about other things. That would be quite cool. Alright, so that is going to happen, and it's going to take like a billion years for any progress to be made on those, but we'll at least get started, and that will be that. Alright, so I think we're going to wrap up there for now. Next time we will be back. It'll be Wednesday, and I will be hopefully the power problem will be more fixed by then, and we can go on to actually like improving production rates of things, because we still do not have good blue circuit production. It is still very, very bad how slow that is. And This is all getting built. That's nice. Apparently we're short drone ports. How is that? Oh, because those need red circuits, I guess. Or no, they need steel. They need steel, and something here got messed up. Alright, well, let's get drone ports producing again. Don't know how that happened, but anyways. With that minor fix aside, I think we're going to wrap up the stream for today. So, thanks everyone for hanging out. I will be streaming tomorrow, playing Satisfactory, and then it'll be back to Factorio on Wednesday. So I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure to stop by and follow if you haven't already. And if you have already followed, thanks, that's real cool. So yeah, that'll be it. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and I will see you guys next time.